All right, so I have a new scan of the Arizona TCAN. Here it is. I think it's a lot nicer. Look at how straight the rim line is there. I think this is really, really lucky. It took me many, many tries to get this. I guess I should reiterate what I said earlier, which is that if possible, the best way to scan a can is almost certainly to cut it up and lay it out flat, unless you have a scanner that can actually circle it, because this has been a rather inefficient workflow. The only reason to do it the way I'm doing it is if you are trying to, in essence, preserve the original prototype, which is in fact what I'm doing because I haven't decided if I'm done with it. So I'll clear the previous scan out of here and I'll put the new scan in. We'll rotate it. In this case, I'm going to go counterclockwise, 90 degrees. I'm going to cut it out again because I want to make that layer slightly transparent. And indeed, I'm going to want to scale this up also. I'll move my label here into place. And actually, to keep the scale uniform, I'm going to have to stretch it, it looks like. Cut, paste, move, and then stretch. .550 pixel. Let's see how that serves the purpose. That's pretty good. Now I will try to match the layers a little bit better here. One thing that's fairly clear is this UV map is going to have to be modified. Another thing I need to do is to get rid of those rubber bands. So I'll do that next. It'll be hard to do it cleanly, but I think that as usual, I will use the rubber stamp tool, or the clone tool as it's also called. Here I'm going to skip ahead because it's a very, very tedious process doing this. It took me the better part of an hour, if I'm remembering right, maybe even a little bit longer. And you don't want to watch this because, for one thing, there are a lot of people who are much, much better at this than me. You know, like people who would do this in Photoshop and so on. You'll see in the end product, it's not really all that bad. That my methods more or less worked for this project, but this is not the thing that I'm absolutely the best at. So I'll just show you this little bit here, beginnings of it, and then I'll skip right ahead to the end. course, the only reason I had the rubber bands in there originally was that otherwise it wasn't possible to control the can on the scanner. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll save this. Yes. And I'll export it. And as I think I already mentioned, I will have to adjust that UV map on the model. So this is not going to be the end of this project by any means. I have to take care of that. So that will be in the next video. There is one more thing I'd like to cover before going to the next video, though. Okay, so actually I should jump back. This is the UV map as of version 108 of the Arizona can model. I'm going to try the latest version of the texture, or the side texture. And if we jump over to the 3D view, we bring the texture view back. It is not all that bad, actually. Could be much worse. Now you notice at the top there is a problem with the texture. I have to address that. How do I address that? Well, I'm going to have to go back to the UV map. And actually, I will make this, I'll save this, but then I will make a new version of, I didn't want to do that. Then I will make a new version of the model so that I have a backup of my initial UV map for this rolling scan. And we'll jump back to the 3D view. Okay. I think maybe the best way to do this, I'm not completely sure. It might be a good idea, actually, to add a new seam around the bottom of the taper. So that will be in the next video.